Right, well, I'm Linda Fursland. I'm the professional tutor at Priory Community School, and I work with trainee teachers. My role is non-teaching, actually, but to work with trainee teachers. So that's my interest in this work. This slide is really to set the national context, and it shows the tremendous increase in numbers of support staff. The face of the profession has changed enormously. You can see the increase in teachers, the blue columns at the back, and the orange columns represent the increase in support staff. So the face of the workers in schools has changed in the last 9 years. We've actually recognised that trainee teachers need more than just to sit in classrooms and observe LSAs at work. And they need more, obviously, than just to be thrown in the deep end and to be working with LSAs or teaching assistants. And that recognition is what has come to the fore in this research. Now, the research methods have been quite interesting. I think they've probably been a bit different. I've had 17 diaries written by support staff. In fact, I totalled up the word count and it's 78,000 words. We've certainly got the voice. That is so important. The voice of support staff is represented in this project. They've written 5-day diaries and they've been analysed, and we have actually obviously analysed them in terms, first of all, of setting up the interviews, and then secondly, looking at the findings and putting them into categories. I've also interviewed people like Rosie, who's obviously working at Priory Community School. I've interviewed an advanced skills teacher there, a recently qualified teacher and a newly qualified teacher. All the interviews have focused on the use of support staff. I've trialled the materials with groups of 30 to 40 trainee teachers. So coming on to the findings, first of all, I've obviously categorised the support staff into 3 categories. Those who are involved, obviously, with direct intervention within the class or withdrawal. They're giving support either in the class or through withdrawal. Those who are involved in providing advice, which is about dismantling barriers to learning, and very often that is taking place either in the home or in the school without access to the classroom. And finally, obviously, there's a group of people, higher-level teaching assistants, HLTAs, who carry out a management role. And the 3 categories of work that I've identified through the diaries, first of all, the most important one is about engaging pupils in learning. And this is what support staff are most passionate about, all of them, through their diaries and their interviews. They stress that it's their raison d'etre, it's why they're there, and that's what they're committed to. The other work that they do, obviously, which clearly makes up quite a considerable part of their work throughout the week, is just preparation work. Reading, obviously, the documentation, the individual education plans and profiles and so on, and consulting with colleagues, and not just within the school, but within the networks, within the local authority. A lot of networking goes on the part of support staff, working with a wide range of organisations. And then lastly, clearly, there is diagnosis and assessment work in the broadest sense of the word. When I trialled these materials, I got 101 comments back as to what trainees perceived as their biggest challenges in working with support staff. And it's quite clear to me that the same issues are coming up, and it is simply revolves around communications. It's about knowing roles and expectations, knowing how to communicate with them, knowing what to expect of them. And then, obviously, setting up appropriate relationships to work effectively, and clearly learning from support staff in terms of strategies for differentiation. My study has identified that support staff have a huge contribution to make to the training of teachers. And certainly my evidence points to the fact that we can in fact, designed some materials based on this study and other studies, obviously, which will contribute to that. That is how I plan to move this forward. I want to work on producing some video-based materials and also some diary excerpts, really, which will clarify what the roles are of the support staff members that I've worked with. That is the implications of the study. There's plenty of scope, obviously, huge amounts of scope for further work in this area. But I think the most important thing is that trainee teachers deserve that opportunity. It's very complex. They're coming in to teaching because obviously they want to work with children, they love their subjects, but the complexity of the situation is managing another adult in the classroom, in many cases obviously much more experienced than them. And I know that other projects here are involved with this as well, so there will be a further emphasis on this.